If you're an Indiana teacher, you've probably heard the word pension thrown around once or twice, or a lot of times during your careers. But have you ever sat down and actually looked at the numbers and said, hey, how does this work towards my retirement income strategy? I know that I'm eligible for a pension raise, but if I look back, it doesn't seem like those actually happen. With no cost of living adjustments for my pension, how does that affect what I can spend in retirement for my portfolio? In this video, I'm going to break down the numbers for you so you can see for yourself. I'm Evan Kaufman. I'm a financial planner with Kaufman Wealth Management, and we help Indiana teachers build wealth. Okay, so what you see on my screen is what we call the 4 buckets that you can cash in retirement. So if you're an Indiana teacher, for this example, we're going to say that you get $3,000 a month from your pension. And then we go to Social Security. We're going to say at age 62, the monthly amount will be $2,500. And then the third chip you can cash in is investment income. That's the bucket of money that you've been accumulating for your entire life. For this example, we're going to say that you have $600,000 between all of your investment accounts. And we recommend no more than a 4% withdrawal on your account. So again, 600,000 times 4%, that's about $24,000 a year or $2,000 a month. The fourth chip you can cash in is part-time work. Some people are like, I do not want to work, and then we just exit out. This is more of a stress-free job. This is not anything crazy like you were during your actual career. This is something to fill your time or something to increase your income to delay any investment withdrawals to let that cash grow and grow and grow. Now keep in mind, the 4% withdrawal is assuming that you're allocated appropriately. We want to make sure that we're invested in something that's going to have long-term growth. Some people say that, gosh, I want to be really conservative. I got my number. But what they forget is that there's 30 to 40 years ahead of them that they got to plan for. So we want to make sure that there's long-term growth still allocated in our portfolio. We want to make sure that we're not being too conservative because the cost of living is just going to increase higher and higher and higher. And that means our portfolio needs to be higher and higher and higher to combat that. In the next slides, you'll see that the snapshot at 62 looks much different from 72, 82, and 92. That income gap that is needed from the portfolio gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, so from the last slide, we saw that if we added up pension, Social Security, and what we needed from investments, that actually equaled $7,500. I know it was before taxes are assessed, but the client can actually live on the after-tax amount. So we're just going to assume that it's $7,500. As you see on the next slides, this monthly income amount goes up by 3% a year. You'll see a higher amount each time, and we're going to go by decades. So if we look at the breakdown, we have pension of $3,000 a month, Social Security of $2,500 a month. The gap to fill is only $2,000 a month, which can actually be sustained by our investments. Or someone could say, I'm going to go out and make $2,000 a month or $24,000 a year, delaying any investment withdrawals so my bucket can grow even faster. Okay, so now we're fast forwarding a decade to age 72. Well, gosh, now that's $7,500 to have the exact same lifestyle. That equates to $10,079 to have the same purchasing power it did the decade earlier. But here's the catch. Our pension did not get an increase. Yes, Social Security did get a raise. We're assuming 2.5% raises every single year. But now look at that gap. That gap has increased from $2,000 a month to now $3,879 a month. Well, yes, you could go and make more money, but eventually you're not going to want to work anymore. That's going to drop off eventually. So where does the money have to come from? Our investments. Going back to earlier, that's why we cannot be too conservative in our portfolio because it needs to replace more and more and more. And if we're not allocated in a fashion that attempts to stay ahead of inflation and to bridge this gap, we're going to have to make some serious cutbacks. And I don't want you to do that. Okay, now we're 20 years into retirement. That $7,500 is now $13,546 a month. I sometimes even hesitate showing this to clients because of how scary this feat may be. And again, our pension is only at $3,000 a month. Our Social Security, again, got a raise to about $4,100 a month. But the gap now is almost $6,500 a month. Well, now at this point, we're talking about over $77,000 that's needed from our portfolio at this point on an annual basis. Well, the $600,000 that we originally thought was going to be okay, well, if it stays put and we're withdrawing all this money all this time, certainly that is not going to keep up with $6,500 a month of withdrawals. So how do we combat that? Invest appropriately, making sure that we have our foot prudently on the gas in attempt to combat the inflation. Age 92, now we've been retired for 30 years. You get the picture now. The monthly need is now $18,204. All the more reason to invest appropriately to combat this cost of living increase. As you can see in this video, a pension may seem simple, but it can actually add some complexity when we're talking about stable income throughout retirement to make sure that you're living your best life. That's where our expertise at Kaufman Wealth Management and Teacher Retirement can guide you to make the right decisions and retire with confidence. Once again, I'm Evan Kaufman. I'm a financial planner with Kaufman Wealth Management. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions or want to go over your own retirement, please reach out to us. I'll leave my phone, email, and our link to our website below. Thank you.